Hi, everyone. My name's Sam Conrad. This is my wife, Jen.
Hello.
As promised last night, after we put the kids to bed, we had the idea for me to answer some questions that we've received from voters who have submitted them and questions that people are curious about. I'm going to try my best to do it. It's 2:15 here at the Conrad house, and so it's nap time, in other words. And so we have a little bit
Take
of time.
advantage of all sleeping times.
Yeah. So we're going to answer questions that we've already received. If you have questions throughout this, please continue to send those to us, and I'll try my best to answer those questions in the messenger after the live.
Right. We won't be able to address and pay attention to what is in the comments while we're going through it, but we will get answers to you. Right?
Awesome. So Jen's going to ask me the questions, and I'm going to do my best to answer them.
Okay. Well, let's get started. First things first, why are you running?
So I'm running for office because I enjoy public service. We started our military adventure back in 2013. I was working at a big law firm in Fort Wayne, but just felt the pull on my heart to serve, to join the military. And so after talking about it with Jen, praying a lot about it, she finally said, "I don't want to hear it anymore. Let's just do it." And so that's what led to the military experience. So we've been around the world, and but I've just thoroughly enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed helping soldiers through very difficult times, both as their attorney, as their defense attorney, but also as a prosecutor, helping commands ensure good order and discipline. And so I wanted my military career came to an end, and I wanted to continue to serve. To help other people, just because of the nature of it.
Okay. Why all the ads about Pat Miller's reprimand? Seems to be kind of where you pointed everything. So
yeah,
why the focus there?
Right, and that's a very good question. I appreciate the opportunity to answer it. So when I first decided to run, a big portion of the reason why I'm running is because I read the opinion from the Supreme Court when they reprimanded him. When I read that reprimand, I was shocked and appalled and embarrassed for our county. I couldn't believe that someone would have made those types of decisions. And so that was a big decision point for me when I said, hey, the voters need a option. They should have a choice at the ballot box, especially after reading that reprimand, and that's why I focused on it. It was a big decision point for me. Why I have continued to advertise it so much is because when I was going door to door down in Bern, Geneva, it came to my attention quickly that voters had never heard of the reprimand, didn't even know about it, and so they were surprised to have learned that. I did some digging and realized that the reprimand itself was not advertised in every newspaper in the county. And as a result, I wanted to make sure that the voters were informed because I think it's important, and I know that Adams County voters want to be informed about who they vote for and the issues. And I thought it was important that I informed them because they have not been informed yet. So that's why I focused on those ads.
Okay. You mentioned going door to door. Why did you stop?
Yeah, so COVID, right? Isn't that the answer for everything these days?
Unfortunately.
So I really enjoyed going door to door. I really enjoyed meeting people and just talking to voters and just kind of shooting the breeze with them. And unfortunately, though, because of the uptick, I just felt it was better for everyone involved. Better to just hang the door hangers and go to the next house rather than knock on the door and have that personal interaction. Unfortunately, it was a difficult decision because I had so much fun talking to folks and meeting people, but I think it's the right decision.
Okay, you mentioned earlier about your Army career. What's the difference between an Army Corps and Adams County courts?
Yeah, that's a good question. So Army courts-martial are federal courts, right? So they're a little bit more formal. We're standing at attention, we're in our dress blues, all that kind of stuff. But the basic procedure and process is very similar. When Jen and I moved, our first assignment was to Daegu, Korea. I was a prosecutor there. Then we moved to Wiesbaden, Germany. I was a defense attorney there. So I've been in trials a lot and formal proceedings like that. And so the main difference is probably the formality. Obviously the rules are slightly different, but they're very similar in the basic process. But that's a good question.
Okay. Let's see. So something pretty fresh is Pat Miller's newspaper ad about your experience accurate?
Yeah. So thank you for the opportunity to address that. So in today's Decatur Daily Democrat and in today's Burn Witness, there is an ad that my opponent put out claiming to compare our legal experiences. And unfortunately, there are several false statements about my experience that he put in there. And
typos?
Yeah, I don't think they're typos. I think there's under the ethical rules for judicial candidates, you have to be scrupulous about the statements that you put out and the things that you say. And unfortunately, he decided not to do that. And that's unfortunate for him. But at the end of the day, I think the voters will understand kind of what's going on in that ad.
Okay. What's your stance on the Hannah Nutman project? A splash pad, a dog park, a homeless shelter, or halfway house?
Okay, and we received this question from specifically from one of the voters, and I appreciate that. Appreciate the question. Unfortunately, my answer I don't think is going to be very satisfying. It's along the same lines as that you heard from during the Supreme Court hearings regarding judicial candidates and kind of what's proper for them to respond to and how to answer certain questions. And the background and the basic reason for Justice Coney's responses a lot of times to senators is kind of the same thing for me, in the sense of I don't want to answer something that will somehow impair the independence of the judiciary, meaning I don't want to come to a conclusion on an issue that may be before the court. And a lot of those topics that were addressed are things that could potentially come before the Superior Court if I am elected, and I don't want to have an opinion about those prior to hearing all the facts in those specific cases and analyzing those individually.
They sound like good ideas. I'm not supposed to say that. Let's see. Are you for sure going to abolish drug court? That's another big controversial thing. Yeah,
so I've got a lot of questions about that, and kind of surprising. I have never said that I wanted to abolish drug court, and I think that like I had mentioned in an ad or in a video earlier, drug courts can be very positive, and they can do a lot of good for people. There are a lot of different problem-solving courts that can do a lot of good for people. I think, am I for or against drug court specifically? I'm for helping people. I'm for making improvements in systems and making things work better for the entire community. That means taking into account how much things cost, but also how successful things are. And if things can be improved, I'm for that. And I think the way to improve and to help more people is to collaborate with other county officials, for the judge specifically, to collaborate with other county officials, to understand and to respect those other county officials have life experience, have professional experience, and they've interacted with the drug court. And I think it's important to take into account their experiences and their thoughts on what the best way to help people is. Also, there's been a lot of comments that we've received from drug court participants themselves who have had a lot of good ideas, and hearing from them about what works, what doesn't work, what they like to keep, what aspects of the drug court work and don't work, those are all important as well. And so, no, I have not come to a conclusion one way or the other. What I am for is helping people and helping people through difficult issues. I did a lot of that in the Army as the special victim prosecutor at Fort Sill. I was hand-selected by the Secretary of the Army to serve Fort Sill in that specific position. And there, I helped victims who have been victims of domestic violence, child abuse, and sexual assault, help them through difficult times. And it was not always a one-size-fit situation, but working with other people to figure out what the best outcome is important, and it's what I plan to do if elected judge.
Okay, so those are all the questions that came in. So thank you, everyone who sent those in. As far as anyone having more questions, feel free to comment on this video, but also visit your website and feel free to ask any questions, and we can get back to you.
Sounds
Sam
good.
can get back to you.
ConradForJudge.com. Thanks so much for your time. Have a good day.